Thank you
Well,
very
you
much.
are doing very well. Congratulations on getting the new prosecutor general. I know there's a lot more that has to be done, but I really think that's good. And I understand you're working with Iran in the coming days on a number of additional laws to secure the IMF. So, but congratulations on installing the new prosecutor general. It's going to be critical for him to work quickly to repair the damage that Shokin did. And I'm a man of my word. And that now that the new prosecutor general is in place, we're ready to move forward in signing that new $1 billion loan guarantee. And I don't know how you want to go about that. I'm not going to be able to get to Kyiv anytime soon, maybe in the next month or so. And I don't know whether you could either sign it with our ambassador, or if you came here, we could sign it, or if you want, we're inviting Groisman here later. I'm going to be talking to him later this morning, not for that purpose. We're inviting him to Washington, and so I'll leave it up to you as to how you want that done and when you want it done.
First of all, thank you very much indeed for these words of support. Believe me that it was very tough challenge and very difficult job, and Mrs. Timoshenko and Mr. Leshko faction tried to break this, because we not only voted for the new prosecutor general, which we do in a very short period of time, within 1 day we changed the law. By the way, in this law we presenting the new structure of the General Prosecutor Office, including the General Inspection, as we agreed. The second thing, I immediately invited Lutsenko and said that he should contact your embassy, and I would be very pleased if you would have a certain person who can come either from Washington or wherever. We have here, I don't remember his name, the Ukrainian origin American prosecutor. He is a little bit old. I sent to the Jeffrey his name, and he was ready to come and to be assistant and advisor. With a very good experience in the American system, and he can be the person of trust with the new prosecution system. I think this is exactly the right time to do that, and if he's still ready to come and to cooperate from the very first step, in the very first meeting of the new prosecutor, that is exactly what I'm looking for.
Well, let me get in contact with the Justice Department and pursue that. I'll get his name, and let me find out where that is, because it is in our interest, obviously, to provide professional assistance as quick as we can, so this gets up and started in the right direction. So I will move on that as soon as we hang up. I'll put that in train, and I'll get back to you as to what I'm able to do.
Absolutely. Second, thank you very much indeed. This is exactly what I'm looking for. The second thing is that I want to thank you that you give me your word that immediately when we change the legislation and I appoint the new prosecutor general, and it would be Yuri Lutsenko, as we agreed on our previous meeting in Washington, and when it happened, we can have this loan guarantee, and thank you very much.
The situation room is thank you, Mr. Vice President. Your call has been convened.
The same way that I predict the fraction of Batkivshina and the fraction of Samopomochy leave the coalition. And in the coalition are left less than 226 votes, so we do not have a majority. I personally, together with the Prime Minister, asked Radical Party Leshko to join the coalition, that formally we can keep the legitimacy. But we don't have neither legitimacy in the parliament, no in the public, in the country. And this,
so if I understand this correctly, there was a no confidence vote. You bought no confidence vote, so our Senate is still there. But then there was a vote on the package that the government had put forward, and that 247 voted against that. So in terms of moving forward with additional reforms and additional things you need to do, you don't have a coalition to do that? Is that what you're telling me?
Not exactly. So, first, he gave an assessment voting in the parliament, and parliament gave a negative report to the activity of the cabinet of ministers. That was the first thing. This is not immediately follow or means the resignation, but this is just a political estimation. Then, when it put the confidence vote, me organized that in my fraction and in other fraction it was not enough votes. Also, Prime Minister works for that for sure, but I blocked the resignation of the government because I promised to, just because. But now, when two fractions from four leave the coalition, we do not have a majority.
Yes.
Yes, one moment for Vice President Biden. Thank you.
Introducing President Poroshenko. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good to hear you, Mr.
Good to hear you. By the way, you and I have talked about this a lot before. I guess Monday is the second anniversary. Remember, I'm counting on you to be the founding father of the modern Ukraine.
Thank you, sir. And I think that this message is very important. I just want to be a little bit more accurate. So, we have no doubt that we should intensively implement the reform. But we should implement the reform with the way that people trust them. Because if people do not trust the reform, this reform is impossible to implement. This is point number one. Point number two, Joe, we do not have a majority in the parliament. That is the main message.
Do you have a
You can make
majority
any calculation, but
with the radical party?
I have in my party, in my fraction, 136 members of parliament, and from them 16 are ready to write down the statement for going out from the coalition. He has 81. So altogether, this is 201, and we have lack of more than 20 votes. And even if Lashko can return or not return or doing like that, we do not have a physical majority. This is the case.
How did you get the reforms passed just this week?
Say it again?
How did you get the reforms passed this week relating to the IMF?
Because I asked personally that fraction who go out from the coalition, I mean Samopomich and Timoshenko, that was my special meeting with them. They give me a message that because of the trust to you, Mr. President, we vote for the IMF and for the visa-free and for the anti-corruption, but we do not vote just because of the person of the Prime Minister. And that is their message. And that's why I'm very happy that we are strong enough and brave enough and lucky enough, actually, to have these changes now. But we should have an intensive negotiation how to find out the way how to return these fractions back to the coalition. But demonstrate that everything is okay, people are happy, we have a majority in the parliament, this is not true. The other fraction we can invite, but they speak only with the language of the political corruption. And I hate the idea to, after the Maidan, to buy the votes.
President Poroshenko?
Yes.
One moment for Vice President Biden.
the new coalition or restore coalition should be pro-European and reform-oriented, Samopomic received my proposal about the technocratic government of Yaresko and to join coalition, because the reason of the political crisis is that the three fractions, Samopomic, Batkivshina, Timoshenko and Leshko, go out from the coalition and we left together with the Prime Minister in a minority. I invite Samopomic and propose them to either to support Yareska or to propose his leader as a next Prime Minister. They said that they are ready to, they take some time, so after a few days they say that they are ready even just to start negotiation about possible coalition, but not to be member of coalition, just vote for that. I said this is not possible under our constitution. This is impossible. They should sign up personally their membership in coalition. And they put, even for that, three preconditions. Point number one, changes or resignation of the general prosecutor, which I said, which has already happened because I sent the resignation letter to the parliament, and now it is in the parliament, it should be done immediately. Second, the changes in the Central Election Commission. I said I don't understand why Central Election Commission is part of the coalition when we don't have an election, but okay, I'm ready to change the Central Election Commission. But the third, they say, we want to change the election law. I said no, because I'm completely against the early parliamentary election. And the changes in the election legislation will be stimulating for you, for Timoshenko, the early parliamentary election, and this is completely unacceptable for me. They said that without this election law, which is no connection, they do not open even discussion about the coalition membership. And without Samopomic, with the rejection of Timoshenko and Leshko, we don't have for Yareska 226. As far as I understand, our partners and our American friends has a significant influence on the Samopomic leaders, and I asked Pavlo to call Tori, and I asked to contact ambassador, maybe to increase the pressure and to support Yareska candidacy by Samopomic. 2 hours ago, immediately after the face passage of Yareska, I called Sadovy once again. Unfortunately, he's staying somewhere in Europe for the holiday, and he said that he is not in a position to support Yareska and to give now any positive answer. And this is in the situation when our United States partners give grants to Samopomic and give him their significant financial support. In that situation, I hate the idea to keep uncertainty anymore. And now, in my building, I have a Yatsenyuk, and we started negotiation on other candidates. So if Samopomic return, we are ready to support Yareska, but if it would be no Samopomic, we now start discussion about Groisman. You remember Groisman, during your very famous and beautiful speech in the parliament, you have a discussion with him.
I remember.
President, just 1 minute for Vice President Biden.
Thank you.
Introducing President Poroshenko.
Now I have, and I think we can trust each other, the party of Hassani together with me. They were together during the voting of the general prosecutor, voting of the government, voting of the IMF, and I hope we have significant level of support. Unfortunately, this is not fully enough. This is almost majority in the parliament. And those who go to the United States, Samopomich, Timoshenko, and Leshkov, who do not go there, for different reasons, completely against that. Because this is the political reason. This has nothing to do with the essence of the agreement. This is just a dirty political tricks. And that's what I'm asking from the Jeffrey. Please do not give the grants to the Samopomich. Do not give them money. Because this is not a financing for the opposition party. This is the financing of the absolutely irresponsible political leader who is doing very bad things for the future of my country and for the Ukraine, for the security and for the stability. That's, I think, first of all, I am completely satisfied with the messages they received in Washington. They were quite strong and quite decisive. I think that would be a good idea if you continue to have a press on Samopomich, because if Leshko and Timoshenko, this is the loss, on Samopomich, because you support them, in that situation they could give a positive response, because without Samopomich, we cannot even expect any positive things on the constitutional thing.
Okay, all right.
That would be impossible, because if I can count on me with the law, election law, I can find out the votes. Without Samopomich, I cannot find out the votes on the constitutional changes. This is very sorry.
We will do everything to help you to get the votes. Okay, all right.
That would be impossible, because if I can count on me with the law, election law, I can find out the votes. Without Samopomich, I cannot find out the votes on the constitutional changes. This is very sorry.
We will do everything to help you to get the votes.
Как это было?
President, my friend, I'm not going to ask how you are, but I hope you're well.
I'm always feeling well, Mr. President, when I'm speaking with you.
I understand that the Minister of Economy, whose name I can't pronounce, I apologize.
Yeah, Abramovich. I learned it after 3 months of his work in the government.
I understand that other cabinet members signed on to it, didn't they? Or did they?
No. I don't know. Maybe something happened, but I don't know what any other cabinet members decide. But I doubt that it is happening. But the statement of the Abramovichus was very dangerous. From my point, I never said it publicly, but from my point, it was extremely irresponsible. But it's happened, and I made immediate meeting with him after his statement and said, look, you representing me, President, it was me who invited you in the country. It was me who support you all the time. It was me who give you, in a violation of law, the security guard from the secret services, for you not afraid anything. It was me who insisted and support all your initiatives. I give you Ukrainian citizenship. And you still have my full support. The statement of the Abramovichus was very dangerous. From my point, I never said it publicly, but from my point, it was extremely irresponsible. But it's happened, and I made immediate meeting with him after his statement and said, look, You representing me, President. It was me who invited you in the country. It was me who support you all the time. It was me who give you, in a violation of law, the security guard from the secret services, for you not afraid anything. It was me who insisted and support all your initiatives. I give you Ukrainian citizenship. And you still have my full support.
Представители Коломойского в Раде не дадут голоса за бюджет. Предлагаю послушать этот разговор.
Let me ask you one thing before I forget. Privat Bank. I understand the governor of the bank is tentative about setting a date certain for the transition to take place. And I'm being told secondhand that, I don't know if this is her position for sure, that she is unsure of a date until she gets an agreement from you. Here's what I told them. I told them to get back there and set a date, and I would talk to you about the date. Because this is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get into a position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the details. So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security. I know it's difficult. I know Kolomorski is a pain in the ass and a problem for everybody, but it really is critical that you guys figure this one out. And you've been good. You've publicly spoken out as I've asked you to do. You've done that. I just want you to give what she called the commissioner, the governor, the governor of the bank, give her some spine. Let her know that you're going to be standing there when she sets a date and moves forward.
This is very important what I hear from you, and I think that on the 22nd of November, on Tuesday, I will have a final report from Ernst & Young audit, and we agreed that me, Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Governor, I invite Arseny and our security officers should meet and make a decision about the date. The only reason I have, after 22nd, when I have an audit report, we have a voting of the budget in the parliament, where Kolomorski has a significant number of members of parliament, and the Prime Minister asked me to vote budget first, and then launching the process. This is the confidential information, but
I'll keep that with me. I'll keep that with me.
Оказывается, Коломойский это
Here's what I told them. I told them to get back there and set a date, and I would talk to you about the date. Because this is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get into a position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the details. So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security. I
Judy, when then Vice President Joe Biden went to Ukraine in 2015 and met with the president of that Eastern European nation, a Chicago criminal case was one of his top agenda items, according to Ukraine's prosecutor general at the time. That report tonight in the Kiev Post puts a Chicago twist on what is at the heart of the current White House whistleblower scandal. The Chicago case involves a Ukrainian business tycoon indicted under the Obama administration, a man federal prosecutors in Chicago have been trying to extradite to the U.S. to stand trial. President Trump has said that Ukraine's former prosecutor general Viktor Shokin was fired in March 2016 after pressure from then U.S. Vice President Biden in an alleged effort by Biden to derail an investigation of his son's company. That is an allegation Mr. Biden has strongly denied. Now, though, according to this affidavit reported by the Kiev Post, Shokin claims that Biden had also been trying to interfere with the case of this man, gas tycoon Dmitry Firtash, who is the subject of a drawn-out extradition fight by federal prosecutors in Chicago. Firtash, a Ukrainian oligarch, was indicted by a Chicago grand jury in 2014 on bribery racketeering charges, alleging that Indian officials were paid off in deals to secure lucrative titanium destined for Chicago-based Boeing. Firtash was arrested in Austria and has been jailed in Vienna ever since. According to this report in the Kiev Post, citing the Shokin affidavit, during Biden's 2015 visit to Ukraine, he met with then-President Petro Poroshenko and directly manipulated the political leadership of Ukraine on false pretexts in order to prevent Firtash from returning to Ukraine. The ex-prosecutor said Obama administration officials didn't want Firtash to be allowed to leave Austria for Ukraine because the Eastern European nation doesn't allow extradition of its citizens. If Firtash was allowed to return to his homeland, the belief was he would never have been extradited for trial in Chicago. The ex-prosecutor's affidavit is said to have been requested by Firtash's attorneys. Firtash's Chicago lawyer and former federal prosecutor Dan Webb tonight says he's unaware of the Ukraine statement because European lawyers are handling the extradition. In a statement late today, Biden's campaign team called Viktor Shokin a corrupt prosecutor, and they reiterated there is no evidence of wrongdoing by Mr. Biden in Ukraine. What a tangled web.